Hi, and welcome to this Joystream Masterclass. This is Lesson 2, and we're addressing the question of where does video data live in the Joystream network? So there are three different kinds of data in the Joystream network that pertains to videos. The first is ownership information. So to which channel does a video correspond? Who owns the channel? Who owns the NFT for the video? This sort of stuff. That is stored in the state of the validator nodes. So the way you would access that is through the RPC interface for those nodes. That's the most critical kind of information. It pertains to assets and ownership. So that's the first kind of data. The second kind of data is metadata. So this is information like the title of videos and channels, the descriptions for those, attribution, possible age restrictions, category information, all that kind of stuff that sort of goes into the user experience. That kind of data is only part of kind of transaction payload. It's not stored in the state of the blockchain. And the way you access that is through a separate indexing layer, which is really close to the application layer. So if you're running an application, you would typically run a service that surfaces this. The third kind of data is heavy media assets. So I think this is what people are mostly thinking of when they think of video data. So that's, preview images, subtitles, video assets themselves, all this kind of stuff. So that's primarily stored, there are two parts to it. It's primarily stored for long-term archiving in a separate set of nodes called storage nodes. And those are operated by workers in the DAO that are staked workers, and they're accountable to the DAO. They can be slashed. Assets typically will be redundantly stored across multiple different providers. Then, of course, for distribution of that data, that lives in a separate set of nodes called the bandwidth nodes. That's a separate set of actors that are specialized at holding onto data in a temporary small cache and then delivering it to end users on demand when they need it. So the data is also kind of ephemerally stored there as well. So those are the three different places where data is stored in the Joystream network. There's the ownership data, there's the metadata, and then there is the heavy off-chain asset data. So that's a quick introduction to how video data storage is done in the Joystream network. Stay tuned for the next lesson.